Hey there, English learners. Welcome back to the Education Exploration Hub, your go-to space for learning real, everyday English through natural conversations. I'm Sophia, and I'm so glad you're here with us today.
And I'm Dylan. And you know what? Before we jump in today, we just want to say thank you. Seriously, thank you for being here, for listening, and for making this a part of your day.
It really does mean a lot to us. I mean that. Every time you come back to this little corner of the internet, it makes this space feel more alive, more warm, and more special. And we don't take that for granted.
And here's a gentle reminder. Listening is not a small thing. It's really not. In language learning, listening is a superpower. Think about it. Every single time you listen, even on days when you feel like nothing is changing, your English is growing, slowly but surely.
You're learning the rhythm of the language, the natural sound of sentences, how words connect, how real ideas are expressed. So even if speaking still feels slow or hard, please don't think listening is doing nothing, because it is doing something important.
It's doing a lot, quietly but deeply. Deeply. And if you've been learning with us for a while and you've noticed even a small change in your English, please share it in the comments. Seriously, your progress might be the encouragement someone else needs today.
And tell us where you're listening from. We love that. We love seeing all the different corners of the world that join us here. It never gets old.
We really do. All right, speaking of real life, Sophia, why are you giving me that look?
Because, Dylan, I have a confession, a real one. Last night, I looked at the clock at 10 p.m. and said very confidently, "Tonight I am sleeping early."
Uh-oh, that never ends well. Never.
It did not. At 1:15 a.m., I was still awake watching a video about how to organize a refrigerator. I don't even need to organize my refrigerator.
Why were you there?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't own fancy glass containers. I don't meal prep, but my brain said this is important, and I listened.
See, this is exactly the problem. Healthy habits sound so simple until your actual real life shows up, and then everything changes.
Right? In theory, everyone has a beautiful, perfect routine. In real life, your brain says, let's ruin everything for no reason. It's almost like clockwork.
Exactly. You make one good plan and then suddenly you're tired, hungry, distracted, emotionally fragile, and holding your phone like it's your job, like it pays rent.
That is painfully accurate, painfully. So yes, today we are talking about healthy habits that change your life, but not in that fake perfect way, not the just wake up at 5 a.m. and drink lemon water kind of way, because that doesn't work for most of us.
Because real healthy habits are messier, much messier. They're connected to stress, energy, emotions, comfort, and honestly, the relationship you have with yourself. And that relationship is complicated.
Sometimes when people say, I need better habits, what they really mean is, I don't feel like I'm taking care of myself properly. And that's a painful feeling.
Or, I keep doing things that make my life harder and I don't know how to stop. That's a very honest confession.
Exactly, and that's why this topic matters. It really matters. We're not just talking about food, sleep, or exercise. We're talking about patterns. The small things you repeat every day that slowly shape your whole life, the invisible architecture of your day.
And the scary part? Those small things don't look powerful in the moment. They look tiny, harmless even.
No, but repeated every day, they can change your mood, your body, your focus, your confidence, and even your identity. That's how powerful small things are.
So we started with your refrigerator failure at 1 a.m., and now we're talking about identity. That's what we call range, from chaos to philosophy in 30 seconds.
Fair enough. Also, this is a B2 level episode, so if your English is around intermediate level, you are in the right place. This is for you.
And please, don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Please don't. You don't need perfect English here. You never do with us.
Just stay with the conversation. Listen for meaning first. Let the English sink in naturally. Don't fight it. Later in the episode, we'll have our calm word tour, where we explain useful words, idioms, and phrasal verbs from today's conversation, so stay tuned for that.
So, while we talk about healthy habits that can change your life, you'll also build English naturally. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Before we dive deeper, let me ask you something, and think about your answer. What is one healthy habit you keep promising yourself but keep breaking? Be honest.
Oh, easy. Sleeping on time. Embarrassingly easy. I fail at it almost every night.
Mine is saying, I'll just check one thing on my phone. One thing. That might be the least honest sentence in modern history. Right up there with, I'll only have one chip.
Truly. All right, let's get into it. Let's go deeper.
Okay, can I start with an uncomfortable truth, a real one?
Is it one of those truths that sounds wise in the morning and annoying at night? Because those are the best kind.
Yes, exactly that kind.
Go on, I'm ready.
Okay, most people already know what a healthy habit looks like. They do. Nobody hears vegetables are good for you and whispers, this changes everything. Nobody.
Right. The problem is not information. We have all the information. The hard part is not knowing. The hard part is living. Living is messy.
Because real life is weird. It really is. You're tired, your phone is glowing, your mood is unstable, and suddenly the healthy plan you made at 8 a.m. feels like it was written by a different person, a stranger.
Morning you is very ambitious.
Morning me has hope, so much hope.
Night you has snacks and regrets.
Sadly, yes, and that's why this first point matters. Healthy habits are not only actions. A lot of the time they are identity choices. Who do you think you are?
Say more, explain that.
A habit gets stronger when it stops feeling like a random task and starts feeling like part of who you are, like saying, I am someone who takes care of my body, instead of, I'm trying to be healthier this week. See the difference?
Yes. The second one feels temporary, like a phase. The first one feels personal, like a truth. And that's why the word here is intentional. If something is intentional, you do it on purpose with awareness, not randomly, not by accident.
And honestly, that already feels healthier even before the habit becomes perfect, even before you master it. A healthy life is built through small, intentional choices that repeat quietly over time, like drops of water on a stone.
So maybe the better question is not, what habit should I copy? But what do I want my daily choices to say about me? That's a powerful question.
That is such a better place to begin, so much better. But even when people know who they want to be, there's another problem, a big one.
The environment. Yes, your environment is often stronger than your willpower, much stronger.
It really is. People say, why do I keep eating snacks? While the snacks are in a clear jar on the counter like confident little villains, they're staring at you. Or why do I keep checking my phone at night while the phone is right next to your pillow, within arm's reach?
A toxic bedtime companion. And this matters because people blame themselves too quickly. We're so good at blaming ourselves. They say, I have no discipline, when sometimes their whole setup is working against them. The room is the problem, not you.
Your room matters. Your desk matters. Your kitchen matters. Your notifications matter. What you see first matters. All of it. It's like trying to walk forward while the floor is moving backward. You can't win that way.
Exactly. I had this with sleep. I kept saying I wanted to sleep earlier. Very serious, very mature. But every night my laptop was open, my phone was charged, and I had no real bedtime routine, no signal to my brain that it was time to rest.
So basically, your environment said, no, we're staying awake. Your room was working against you.
Exactly. And this is where the word detrimental fits. If something is detrimental, it's harmful. It has a bad effect on you, slowly, silently. And sometimes the most detrimental things are not dramatic. They're just always there. Constant noise, constant temptation, the little things.
So instead of asking, why am I so weak? A better question is, what around me keeps making the unhealthy choice easier? That question is kinder and smarter, so much kinder. Because sometimes the problem is not your character, it's your setup. Change the setup, change the habit. And once you see that, another truth becomes clear. A lot of unhealthy habits are not really about pleasure, they're about comfort. Many unhealthy habits are emotional coping tools. They help us survive hard moments.
That point matters a lot. It really does. Because sometimes people say I'm lazy when the real story is I'm overwhelmed, or lonely, or mentally tired, or trying to feel better quickly. The habit is a medicine, just a bad one.
I had a season like that, a real one. I was overworked, undersleeping, drinking coffee late, answering messages at silly hours, and calling it responsibility. I felt so important. But really, I was just pushing myself too hard, burning out slowly.
You were burning the candle at both ends. That means you're doing too much and using too much energy without enough rest. It sounds impressive, very productive, like a hero. But meanwhile, your body is writing a complaint letter, a long one.
Exactly, and that's why the better question is not only how do I stop this habit, but what is this habit doing for me emotionally? Is it giving comfort, escape, numbness, relief? Ask the hard question.
Because if you remove the habit without understanding the need underneath it, something else will take its place. It always does. That's like taking away the umbrella without stopping the rain. You'll just get wet another way.
And then there's another layer, a big one. Modern life itself rewards unhealthy patterns. Sit more, scroll more, sleep less, order faster, reply now, keep going. Don't be still for even 5 minutes. The system is against us.
That really is the modern lifestyle speech. And that's why people feel like they're failing privately, when actually they're fighting something much bigger, a whole culture. A lot of unhealthy choices are designed to be easy.
Rest takes intention. Walking takes intention. Cooking takes intention. But distraction is already open. It's waiting for you.
The unhealthy option is often the default option, the path of least resistance. Your phone never says, "Are you sure you want to lose 40 minutes to nonsense?" It says, "Here are 3 more things to steal your attention." And we say thank you.
And this is where cut back on fits really well. If you cut back on something, you reduce it, not necessarily to 0, but to a healthier amount. Cut back on scrolling. Cut back on constant noise. Cut back on stress snacking. Small reductions.
I like that phrase because it sounds like adjustment, not punishment, not failure, which matters because a habit only works if it fits your actual life, not your fantasy life, your real one, the life you actually live.
Not the version of you who wakes up glowing, has 2 free hours every morning, and somehow enjoys decorating yogurt with seeds. That person doesn't exist.
A mythical person, truly. I tried one of those perfect routines once. Wake up early, stretch, journal, meditate, make a beautiful breakfast. It looked amazing on paper. So beautiful.
Dangerous sentence.
By day 3, I was annoyed, behind schedule, and weirdly angry at oatmeal. Angry at oatmeal is a specific adult crisis, a new low.
It really is. And that's when I realized the routine was not sustainable. If something is sustainable, it means you can actually continue it over time. It fits your energy, your schedule, and your real life. It doesn't fight you.
That word changed a lot for me. Everything. I stopped asking what looks impressive and started asking what can I actually keep doing? Because a routine you quit after 5 days is less useful than a small one you keep for 5 months. Consistency beats intensity.
A 10-minute walk you actually do is better than a 1-hour workout you keep postponing forever. And that's where moderation matters too. Moderation means balance, not too much, not too little. The golden middle.
Which sounds simple, but people struggle with it because dramatic plans feel exciting. They do. Humans love saying, from tomorrow, everything changes. And then tomorrow arrives like, good luck with that. Same old tomorrow.
Exactly. But moderation is quieter. It whispers. It asks, what is enough? What's realistic? What will actually support me? Humble questions.
And when something finally fits your life, something beautiful happens. You begin to trust yourself again. That's huge. Small habits build self-trust over time, brick by brick.
That point matters so much. It's everything. People think habits are only about results, but they're also about the relationship you build with yourself. That relationship is the foundation. Every time you keep one small promise to yourself, something inside you settles a little. Like, oh, maybe I can rely on me. What a feeling.
I had a tiny habit once that helped me more than I expected. After dinner, I would just walk for 10 minutes. That was it. Nothing fancy.
Just 10?
Just 10. But it mattered because I actually stuck to it. If you stick to something, you keep doing it consistently. You don't quit. And that felt powerful. Not because the habit was dramatic, but because I kept my word to myself. I showed up.
That builds real confidence. Because when you keep breaking promises to yourself, even tiny ones, your own voice starts sounding less serious. You stop believing you. And then people think they need a bigger plan, when sometimes they need a smaller promise, a tiny, doable promise.
That is such a good line. Write that down. I used to be very dramatic if I missed a few days. Well, I failed. It's over. Total meltdown.
Yes, I missed Tuesday. My entire character is broken. Dramatic.
But learning to get back on track changed that. If you get back on track, you return to what was helping you after getting off course. You don't start over, you just continue. And that phrase matters because healthy people are not people who never mess up. They're people who know how to return. That's the skill.
That is such an important difference, night and day. The skill is not perfection. The skill is return. Return without shame. Return without drama. Because one missed workout does not mean you are now deeply committed to the sofa. The sofa is not your new identity.
Those sofas are very convincing. They have strong opinions.
Extremely. And that brings us to the deepest point, I think. The deepest one. The deepest healthy habit is learning to care for yourself without punishment, without the whip.
That one really matters so much because a lot of people start healthy habits from anger. They're frustrated with themselves, so they try to change through pressure. The tone becomes fix yourself, hurry, be better, harsh.
Maybe that works for a few days, but it rarely feels peaceful. It feels like war. And most of the time, it backfires because punishment creates more stress, and stress pushes people back toward the habits they were trying to escape. The loop tightens.
It becomes a loop, a vicious one, which is why health has to include something restorative. If something is restorative, it helps you recover. It gives you back energy, calm, or balance. A walk becomes restorative. Better sleep becomes restorative. A quiet moment becomes restorative. Not punishment, restoration.
Because then you're not treating yourself like a machine. Beep boop. You're treating yourself like a human being, a living, breathing, feeling human. I had a moment like that once after a rough month. I was tired, scattered, not eating well, not resting properly. And one evening I stopped and thought, what would actually help me feel cared for tonight? Not what would impress anyone. What would help me?
What did you do?
Nothing impressive, nothing at all. I cleaned my room a little, made something simple to eat, took a warm shower, put my phone away, and slept properly. Boring? Perfect.
That sounds lovely, really lovely.
It was, and the important part is I didn't do it because I hated myself, not at all. I did it because I was tired and needed care. That's the shift.
That is such a big shift, huge. When healthy habits come from self-respect, they feel steadier, less harsh, less dramatic. And that's where resilient comes in. If you're resilient, you can recover, adapt, and keep going after difficulty. You bounce back.
Resilience is not being hard like a stone. Stone breaks. It's being flexible enough to bend, recover, and return, more like a tree than a statue. A statue looks strong, but one big crack and it's finished. A tree moves with the weather. It sways, but it stays rooted.
That is a beautiful image. I love that. And I think healthy habits should make you more tree-like, more able to recover, more able to return, more able to care for yourself when life gets hard. Because honestly, anyone can follow a routine during a perfect week. The real question is, can your habits still support you when the week is messy, when life is falling apart?
Can they still hold you when you're tired, stressed, emotional, or starting again? That's the test. And maybe that's why healthy habits can change your life. Not because they make you look perfect from the outside, but because over time, they teach you how to live with yourself more kindly, more intentionally, more sustainably, from the inside out.
That was smooth. Very smooth.
Thank you. I had one good moment. I'll take it.
You had several, trust me. But really, if there's one thing I hope people take from today's episode, it's this. Health is not a punishment plan, it's a care plan. Say that again?
Yes, it's not about becoming a perfect person. That's a trap. It's about becoming someone who knows how to look after their own life a little better, one choice at a time. And honestly, that is a much kinder place to begin, the only place to begin.
A much kinder place. So before we move into our word tour, take a second and really ask this. Really ask. What is one small habit that would make your life feel a little more cared for this week? Not more impressive, not more extreme, just more cared for. Sit with that.
Hold that thought. Let's go into today's word tour.
Ah, our calm little word tour. Let's breathe.
Let's slow down and look at some really useful words from today's episode.
First word, intentional. If something is intentional, you do it on purpose. You are not reacting without thinking. Example, she became more intentional about how she started her mornings.
Next, detrimental. If something is detrimental, it is harmful. It has a bad effect on you. Example, too much screen time at night can be detrimental to your sleep.
Idiom time. Burn the candle at both ends. This means you do too much without enough rest. Example, he was burning the candle at both ends and felt exhausted all the time.
Phrasal verb, cut back on. This means to reduce something. Example, she is trying to cut back on sugar.
Sustainable. If something is sustainable, you can keep doing it over time. Example, a 10-minute walk is more sustainable than a workout you quit after 2 days.
Moderation. This means balance. Not too much, not too little. The golden middle.
Stick to. This means to continue doing something. Example, she made a simple routine and actually stuck to it.
Get back on track. This means to return to the right direction after losing focus. Example, he missed a few workouts, but he got back on track the next week.
Restorative. This means something helps you recover energy or calm. Example, a quiet walk in the evening can feel very restorative.
And finally, resilient. If you are resilient, you can recover after difficulty. Example, she became more resilient after learning how to care for herself during hard times.
Those are your words for today. Great words. Try choosing 1 or 2 and using them in a sentence. Write one in the comments if you like. We'd love to read them. We really would.
And maybe that's the real heart of today's episode. Healthy habits are not about becoming perfect. They're about caring for yourself a little more honestly, one small choice at a time. That's the whole thing.
So this week, don't chase a perfect routine. Let it go. Just come back to one habit that helps you feel a little more like yourself. One small thing.
Take care of your English.
And take care of your heart. That matters more. This is Sophia.
And this is Dylan. You've been listening to the Education Exploration Hub. Thanks for being here. Really, thank you.
See you next time. Take care.